In this video, we'll be going over the latest information regarding the 2022 winter season. We'll be taking a look here at the current trends as well as the models in regard to what we can expect coming up. We'll also discuss the temperature in both precipitation outlooks, followed by our exciting snowfall forecast. Latest information regarding the 2022 season coming up. Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Hope you all are having a wonderful day today, and I hope you guys have been staying safe. My name is Andrew Heishman. I'm the lead forecaster here at NWW16, and right now we're taking a look here at the temperature forecast to start off the video. So first up, we're going to take a look here at the above average temperatures for February and March, according to a mixture between my forecast and your climate model. So first shade here is showing that we are expected, mildly above average temperatures to occur across the central and eastern portion of the states. This is kind of covering about 2/3 of the land here. Now, believe it or not, we do have another shade here of expected high temperatures. This does include bits of the southern plains, the southeast, and mid-Atlantic, as well as the northeast. We are very, very confident in the fact that we could see well above average temperatures across those regions there. So when it comes to below average temperatures, believe it or not, we do actually have a shade across the upper northwest, usually with our typical La Nina pattern, in which we actually are currently in at the moment. Usually does allow for a little bit more colder temperatures. Now, we did include bits of the central and northern portion of California, because a lot of the model trends has actually been showing the possibility of some cooler and drier air across the regions there. Alright, guys, so now we're moving on here to the precipitation outlook in regard to things across the nation. So this is a mixture between your forecast models and my personal forecast, like I have been saying. So as we look here, we actually are expecting below average precipitation across the western and southern portion of the country. Like I said, typically with your La Nina, it does allow for a little bit more drier conditions across those regions. So that's why we did mark that region as well. Now, there actually has been some support between the models of actually showing more drier conditions across the central plains as well. So that is why we highlighted the area. Now, believe it or not, there is actually no other shade of drier conditions. So now we're moving on here to the above average precipitation outlook here. Now, this does include a lot of the Ohio Valley into the Midwest, bits of the Northeast, as well as the northern portion of the country, including the upper Midwest, as well as the northern plains. Now, for these areas, we are more confident in the fact that we could see a little bit more precipitation in terms of maybe some more storms across those regions there. Now, we actually do have a second shade here of above average precipitation. Now, in terms of La Nina patterns, you will see that in the future. We actually are seeing a well above average precipitation across these areas here from the Midwest and two bits of the Ohio Valley. Alright, guys, so we're moving on here to the models in regard to things. We're taking a look here at the CFS model. This is your climate model, so you might actually notice this blue across the eastern side of the United States. We'll get into that here in 1 second. So, sometime in your life, I'm sure that you've heard the term the jet stream before. Essentially what the jet stream is basically just a big conveyor belt of air, moisture, and, like I said, colder air that does drive its way down the region. Now, what this is showing is that the jet stream is actually way more further south than normal. So what this means is that any moisture that comes in the western side of the states will drive its way down more south, as well as bring all that colder air down with it. So you mixture between the moisture and your cold air that only gives you the potential of more storms. So this is for the middle portion of February. There is a pretty big chance that we could see a little bit more storm activity across the central and eastern part of the states. Now, as we move on to the later portions of February, things do change up a little bit. So, you might notice that there is no more blue across the eastern side. This is kind of showing that the jet stream is kind of evening out for the most part. However, it is kind of blue across the northern portion of the country. So, this is basically showing the possibility of the storm shifting from the east coast up to more north for the later portion of February. So basically this is showing that there's a possibility we could see a little bit more storm activity, potentially maybe some more snow across between the northern parts of the states, the northern plains and the upper Midwest for your later portion of February. Alright, guys, I want to go ahead and pause the video for 1 second to say, guys, if you are not already, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach the ultimate goal of 500 subscribers by the end of February. I believe we can do it, guys. So if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. That'll be greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and get back on into the video. Alright, guys, so now we're moving on to the current conditions in regard to your Nino 3.4 index. I'll explain what that means here in a second. I'm sure you guys are probably wondering what the heck I just said, but I'll get into it here in a second. But guys, stay tuned because we're getting ready to get into our snowfall forecast. Okay, so Nino 3.4, what does that mean? So I'm going to go ahead and explain it. Basically, it just takes your sea surface temperatures from the Pacific Ocean and kind of averages them out giving you an anomaly if they are above average or below average and normal. We classify this as El Nino and La Nina. So if your values are in the negative 0.5 range and down, which they are, currently we're actually seeing negative 5.5. So this is classifying that we are in a La Nina, but barely. Now, if you are in the negative 0.5 to the 0.5 mark, this is actually classifying that you are in ENSO neutral conditions, basically just simply, normal conditions. So believe it or not, ENSO actually does affect the worldwide weather. So if you are at 0.5 and higher, which we're far from it, this basically shows that we are in El Nino. Okay, so La Nina, what does that mean for the winter time? Well, basically what it is showing is that we have a jet stream that is much more altered north, which does allow for more colder conditions across the north, as well as more wet conditions across the upper northwest. Now, like we were seeing on the, the precipitation outlook, it is actually much drier across the southern portion of the country and a little bit more warmer as well. Now, like we did also see in the precipitation side, is that it is much, much more wet across the Ohio Valley as well as bits of the Midwest. So this does impact the weather in those ways. Alrighty guys, so now we're moving on to the final snowfall forecast for the beginning portion of 2022. So this is it. This is our final word. So we're taking a look here at the areas that are less likely to see snowfall right off the bat. So we do have one shade across bits of the southwest as well as the southern portion of the country. Like I said, because typical La Nina does actually allow for a lot drier conditions as well as a little bit more warmer as well. Now, in regard to above average chance of seeing some snowfall, here we go. So the first shade is actually located here across the upper northwest, as well as bits of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. These are the areas that we are confident because we are seeing a lot of moisture across these regions, as well as those colder temperatures across the upper northwest. So overall, there is a bit of a chance we could see some snow. Now look, there is a second shade. This is across bits of the Midwest into the Ohio Valley because, lately, we've actually been seeing, a lot of those trends pointing towards a lot more precipitation across those regions there. And we do have a third shade as well. Across bits of parts of Missouri, bits of Illinois, Indiana, as well as Kentucky, we are highly confident that we could see many more storms, potentially delivering a lot more snowfall. Alrighty guys, so now we're moving on to the final segment for today's video. We're taking a look here at the overall outlook across the nation. So, like we did mention, across the south we are expecting more warm and dry conditions, as well as more abnormally warm across bits of the central plains, all the way down into the southeast. Honestly, this is kind of expected. Now we start to move into the west. So now we have more cold and dry conditions because the models have actually been showing we are expected to see some, cooler temperatures further down the line. So that's why we are still seeing that, as well as that dry air that's still going to be in place. Now here's where things start to get kind of interesting. So now we actually do see occasional snow kind of across these blue shaded areas here. This is where we are, going to expect some snowfall to occur across these regions. And then we do have a few nor'easters that could be possible across bits of the mid-Atlantic into the northeast, definitely being possible. We've already seen that happen so far this year. And then our last shade, we are expecting, actually no, second to last shade, we actually are seeing average conditions kind of across this gray shaded area. And then lastly, we have mini storms expected across the pink shaded area. But guys, if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, guys. It'll be greatly appreciated. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.